Right, so everyone's just about realise the potential of LinkedIn as a business development tool, but despite this, very few people are actually getting it right on LinkedIn. There's the influencers who tell you to do this and do that, while they sit in an ivory tower with a whole team of people who can afford to spend thousands on leveraging LinkedIn, but that's not your average person or business person on LinkedIn. So here I'm going to share some practical tips that will really help you to actually bring in leads and use LinkedIn, and I practice what I preach, so I can say with confidence that this works. So how much is a 10k client worth to you? If you could spend £1,000 to acquire this client, is it worth it? Hands down, yes, it's got to be worth it. If you're coherent in your approach, of course, otherwise it's not going to work, and it's really consistency. And consistency is always key on LinkedIn. My methods involve no hard selling or cold calling, but if you follow these tips, you can massively improve your sales process using LinkedIn. So I'm giving you a glimpse into some of the key ways that I have found worked on LinkedIn. So your profile is really the key. Your profile is the key to everything on LinkedIn. So don't switch off. I'm deadly serious. Don't overlook the power of your profile. It's one of the most critical elements of your account. People just don't realize that it needs to be optimized, and how you build your profile will determine who finds you. So you need to look at what keywords you're putting into your profile. Are they actually relevant to your ideal client who you want to approach you? Often people they fill their profile with a load of waffle that does absolutely nothing to engage their client, or worse still, it fills their profile with attracting people from the same industry competitors. So everything you do on LinkedIn, you want to generate profile views from valuable people. So your headline and your profile picture are going to be your shop front, and your headline is the people that will follow you. So make sure it says something valuable. Use your headline to really showcase your value to your prospective client. So for example, instead of saying director, I do X for X to achieve X, you could say director at X Company Limited, which is one of these is going to do more for you. Obviously the one that says the result of what you're going to achieve for them. Now content is king, and content is what is going to bring people to you. In my training, I teach people how to use content to build credibility and trust and awareness, and content will bring your ideal clients to you, and it's the best way to get inbound connection requests. So rather than having to reach out all day, you'll get more coming into you. You won't be selling anything on LinkedIn unless you can build a trust and rapport with people. Now, consistent posting works. Typically, people will see around a 500% increase in views if they consistently post valuable information, not rubbish. And you've got to be committed to posting. So if you churn out saying boring stuff, you're not going to achieve anything. You need to create a post or content which is going to engage your ideal client. So no one really cares about your amazing company all the time, just maybe some of the time. But consistent posting will really make a massive difference to you. People will see you on a regular basis. They'll get to know you. They'll feel they know you. So design your posts for the people that you want to do business with, not your competitors. And make sure that you're not just posting your own business propaganda. Personally, I use like an 80-20 mix, unless I'm particularly promoting a particular event or service. And articles. You've probably been doing articles wrong and been underwhelmed by the stats. I use articles solely as conversion devices. So I use them to give people knowledge, but ultimately I'm promoting something too. So you need to structure your articles correctly. Do your articles in a way that you find a pressing problem that your ideal client has. And then through writing the article, you ask them if they need any help solving it. If you can contribute advice to a pressing problem, why would people not read it? You're focused on sales, you're not focused on engagement. This needs to change. So I will talk about the process, but engagement is where it's at. Adverts aren't really the answer, because there's a much more cost efficient process than ads. If you really want to get the most out of LinkedIn, you need to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, not adverts. Adverts have their place, but they're really expensive, and you really can just have a smart process. And if you've got a high ticket product, you can make it work without using ads where the cost of a lead is going to cost you £100. So think about your company page instead. Your company page is a validator, but it is not the be all and end all, because people buy from people. So, I mean, you can think to yourself, when was the last time that you got really excited about someone's company page, apart from your own? Probably never. So focus on your personal profile, bringing back the idea of optimizing your profile, using keywords. We talk about this in the previous modules, so you should be familiar with keywords, and just spend 25 minutes a day on LinkedIn. That's 10 minutes inviting valuable connections to your network, 5 minutes commenting, building engagement, 5 minutes endorsing, creating goodwill, and 5 minutes to see who's changed jobs. Now, inviting, use a custom invitation. Invite at least 10 people a day in your target audience, your ideal client, into your network. Think about things you've got in common, universities, local areas, interests, LinkedIn groups. People are much more likely to accept your invitation request if they've got something in common with you. Send a follow-up note. This should only take about 10 minutes, and it gives you an opportunity to request a meeting or a phone call. Engage with your new network. Like, share, comment, show an interest in them. Especially if the 10 of your most important connections, stay on their radar. Don't just like, but actually post a comment so they know that you've read their post. Endorse people, bolster their profiles. It's a conversation starter, as is changing jobs. It's a brilliant conversation starter, and one which hardly anybody ever uses on LinkedIn unless you know to. But it's brilliant. You can congratulate people, and it starts a conversation, and that's the key to a sale. So ultimately, your success on LinkedIn will depend on your daily dedication to it, but only 25 minutes a day. Most people have that. It's a coffee break, or maybe a slightly extended coffee break, but it's worth spending when you think about the return on investment that you can have through these proactive efforts.